recording of Macbeth, the Globe Theatre version from 2011, Act 1, scenes 5, 6, and 7. Um, we're going to pick up just at the very end of Act 1, Scene 4, because as Macbeth is finishing his small soliloquy moment at the end of that scene, you can see that Lady Macbeth is entering. And this is how you do things in a stage. You sort of have people crossing each other as scenes transfer. So obviously, we as audience members are not supposed to think that they see each other. They're not going to like wave at each other as he exits and she enters. It's just a really common theater technique. I also like this still shot at the start. Yeah, I paused it at a good spot. What's up? Because you get a really cool view of the Globe Theater. Usually, this is not here. They've built this specifically for this production, and the stage usually ends. It's kind of hard to see because this is here in the way, but it usually ends right where this girl is sitting. But they've built this semicircle that's called a thrust for this production. Macbeth productions usually do include a thrust just because of all the sword fighting. Oh, there it goes. Oh, just kidding. Sword fighting that happens. And what that does is it pushes the actors literally into the audience. It makes it more engaging. You're very, very close to the actors. You can see that he is standing right at the lip of the thrust, and all of these people are very, very close to him. You also can see the different levels of seats, and you can see some of the artwork and the beautiful pillars that a lot of you wrote about in your response to the Globe Theater. Now, the one thing I want you guys to think about, and the question that I will probably ask you, um, is about the physical appearance of both Macbeth and Lady Macbeth. So, for your own version in your head, I've asked you about where your witches are. I've asked you your opinions on what different things look like. I want you to think about what type of Macbeth and Lady Macbeth you would like most for a production like this. Is he power hungry because he's young and he's excited and he's, ready to go? Is he power hungry because he's older and he knows that he doesn't have a lot of opportunities left to take the throne of Scotland? Do you want a Lady Macbeth that is a little older than Macbeth to have sort of that maternal mothering aspect because she does sort of tell him what to do? Or do you want a Lady Macbeth that is also young? Do you want her to be good looking or not good looking? So these are all things we need to take into consideration. Now, I'm using the Globe Theater version because it's nice to see it staged and it does follow the text pretty spot on. But what I'm going to put out for you guys later on this week and next week is other film versions with different looks to Lady Macbeth and her husband. So even though this is the production we're watching right now, I want you to think about what you would want these characters to look like, how you would want them to interact. Do you want them to be in love with each other where they're, doing inappropriate making out on stage? Do you want them to be more just connected through power or necessity? You really get to make these decisions. So pay attention to how they do it in this version and then think about what you would want to see in your own.
Let that be which the eye fears when it is done to see.
They met me in the day of success, and I have learned by the perfectest report they have more in them than mortal knowledge. When I burnt in desire to question them further, they made themselves air into which they vanished. Whilst I stood wrapped in the wonder of it, came missives from the king, who all hailed me Thane of Cawdor. By which title before these weird sisters saluted me and referred me to the coming on of time with Hail King, that shalt be. This have I thought good to deliver thee, my dearest partner of greatness, that thou mightst not lose the dues of rejoicing by being ignorant of what greatness is promised thee. Lay it to thy heart and farewell. Glamis thou art, and Cawdor, and shalt be what thou art promised. Yet do I fear thy nature. It is too full of the milk of human kindness to catch the nearest way. Thou wouldst be great, or not without ambition, but without the illness should attend it. What thou wouldst highly, that wouldst thou holily. Wouldst not play false, and yet wouldst wrongly win. Thou'dst have great Glamis, that which cries, thus thou must do if thou'd have it. and that which rather thou dost fear to do than wishes should be undone. Hie thee hither, that I may pour my spirits in thine ear, and chastise with the valour of my tongue all that impedes thee from the golden round, which fate and metaphysical aid doth seem to have thee crowned withal. What is your tidings?
The king comes here tonight.
Thou art mad to say it! Is not thy master with him? Who, were it so, would have informed for preparation?
So please you, it is true. Our Thane is coming. One of my fellows had the speed of him, who, almost dead for breath, had scarcely more than would make up his message.
Give him tending. He brings great news. The raven himself is hoarse, that croaks the fatal entrance of Duncan under my battlements. Come, you spirits that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here, and fill me from the crown to the toe, top full of direst cruelty. Make thick my blood. Stop up the access and passage to remorse, that no compunctious visitings of nature shake my fell purpose, nor keep peace between the effect and it. Come to my woman's breasts, and take my milk for gall, you murdering ministers, wherever in your sightless substances you wait on nature's mischief. Come, thick night, and pour thee in the dunnest smoke of hell, that my keen knife see not the wound it makes, nor heaven peep through the blanket of the dark to cry, hold, hold! Oh. Great Glamis! Worthy Cawdor! Greater than both by the all-hail hereafter. Thy letters have transported me beyond this ignorant present, and I feel now the future in the instant.
My dearest love, Duncan comes here tonight.
And when goes hence?
Tomorrow, as he purposes.
Oh, never shall sun that morrow see. Your face, my Thane, is as a book, where men may read strange matters, to beguile the time. Look like the time. Bear welcome in your eye, your hand, your tongue. Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. He that's coming must be provided for. And you shall put this night's great business into my dispatch, which shall to all our nights and days to come give solely sovereign sway and masterdom.
We will speak further.
Only look up clear, to all to favour ever is to fear. Leave all the rest to me.
This castle hath a pleasant seat. The air nimbly and sweetly recommends itself unto our gentle senses.
This guest of summer, the temple-haunting martlet does approve by his loved mansionry that the heaven's breath smells wooingly here. No jutty frieze, buttress, nor coign of vantage, but this bird hath made his pendant bed and procreant cradle. Well, they most breed and haunt, I have observed. The air is delicate.
See, our honoured hostess, the love that follows us sometimes is our trouble, which still we thank as love. And herein we teach you how you shall bid God shield you for your pains and thank us for your troubles.
All our service in every point twice done, and then done double, were poor and single business to contend against those honours deep and broad, wherewith your majesty loads our house. For those of old, and the late dignities heaped up to them, we rest your hermits.
Where's the Thane of Cawdor? We coursed him at the heels and had a purpose to be his purveyor. But he rides well, and his great love, sharp as his spur, hath holped him to his home before us. Fair and noble hostess, we are your guest tonight.
Your servants ever have theirs, themselves, and what is theirs in compt? To make their audit at your highness' pleasure, still to return your own.
Give me a hand. Conduct me to mine host. We love him highly, and will continue our graces towards him. By your leave, hostess.
You guys, I just love the guy that plays Duncan so much.
If it were done, when 'tis done, then 'twere well. It were done quickly, if the assassination could trammel up the consequence and catch with his surcease success, that but this blow might be the be-all and the end-all here. But here, upon this bank and shoal of time, we'd jump the life to come, but in these cases we still have judgment here, that we but teach the instructions which, being taught, return to plague the inventor. This even-handed justice commends the ingredients of our poisoned chalice to our own lips. He's here in double trust. First, as I am his kinsman and his subject, strong both against the deed, then as his host, who should against his murderer shut the door, not bear the knife myself. Besides, this Duncan hath borne his faculties so meek, hath been so clear in his great office, that his virtues will plead like angels trumpet-tongued against the deep damnation of his taking off, and pity, like a naked newborn babe striding the blast, or heaven's cherubim horsed upon the sightless couriers of the air, shall blow the horrid deed in every eye, that tears shall drown the wind. I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent, but only vaulting ambition, which o'erleaps itself and falls on the other. How now, what news?
He has almost supped. Why have you left the chamber?
Hath he asked for me?
No, you're not. He has.
We will proceed no further in this business. He hath honoured me of late, and I have bought golden opinions from all sorts of people, which would be worn now in their newest gloss, not cast aside so soon.
Was the hoe drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Hath it slept since? And wakes it now to look so green and pale at what it did so freely? From this time, such I account thy love. Art thou afeard to be the same in thine own act and valour as thou art in desire? Wouldst thou have that which thou esteem'st, the ornament of life, and of a coward in thine own esteem? Letting I dare not, wait upon I would, like the poor cat in the adage.
Prithee, peace! I dare do all that may become a man. Who dares do more is none.
What beast was then that made you break this enterprise to me? When you durst do it, then you were a man. And to be more than what you were, you would be so much more the man. Nor time nor place did then adhere, and yet you would make both. They have made themselves, and that their fitness now does unmake you. I have given suck, and know how tender 'tis to love the babe that milks me. I would, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from his boneless gums and dashed the brains out, had I so sworn, as you have done to this.
If we should fail!
Oh, we fail! But screw your courage to the sticking place, and we'll not fail. When Duncan is asleep, whereto the rather shall his day's hard journey soundly invite him, his two chamberlains will I with wine and wassail so convince that memory, the warder of the brain, shall be a fume, and the receipt of reason a limbeck only. When in swinish sleep their drenched natures lie as in a death, what cannot you and I perform upon the unguarded Duncan? What not put upon his spongy officers, who shall bear the guilt of our great quell?
Bring forth men, children only, for thy undaunted mettle should compose nothing but males. will it not be received when we have marked with blood those sleepy two of his own chamber and used their very daggers that they have done?
Who dares receive it other, as we shall make our griefs and clamour roar upon his death?
I am settled, and bend up each corporal agent to this terrible feat. Away, and mock the time with fairest show. False face must hide what the false heart doth know.
And that is the end of Act 1 in the Globe Theater version. So take a look at the questions, make sure you answer them, and that's it for Act 1. We will watch clips from some other film versions next week so you can get an idea of how other directors have interpreted the play. And then we'll pick up with Act 2, where there is some murder, 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 murder. Can't wait. Hope you enjoyed it.